Hey everybody, my name is Sonja and we are at the Rework Deep Reinforcement Learning Summit, and I'm hanging out with Alicia, Kavelaars, the CTO and co-founder of OffWorld. We got to catch up at a previous Rework. We were on a panel together, Women in Technology, so we're kind of familiar, but for those who aren't, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at OffWorld?
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, it's great to see you again. And at OffWorld, we're developing an industrial workforce for extreme environments. So we are looking at deploying our robots in space. That's the ultimate destination. And of course, it's no small feat. So what we realize is that in order to develop these robots, it is important to look at terrestrial applications, and that's what we're doing. We are starting with mining, we're looking into construction, manufacturing, and the goal is to develop these ruggedized pieces of robots that are highly intelligent, and we're looking into machine learning, and in particular reinforcement learning, as the stepping stone for these machines to be as autonomous as possible.
Incredible. So, like you're saying, it's no small feat. What are some of the challenges that you're facing?
Well, it is important to keep an eye on the end game, and as far as deep reinforcement learning is concerned, one of the biggest challenges is how do you bring it to the real world. And for robots that are not in a warehouse or they are not in a structured environment, but they are deployed in an extreme environment where it is really hard to predict the environment and it's really hard to simulate the physics that are going to happen. So that's a very interesting challenge, and we are organizing our research such that we're bringing the RL to real in the most meaningful way.
I can't imagine the challenges facing with the unknown of the environments that you're going to be dealing with. What are you using to train your robots right now? Like, what kind of extreme environments are you throwing them into?
Mm-hmm. Well, we have chosen mining as our first deployment. So we have actually built the robots and are testing the different neural networks in our facility in Pasadena, as well as in mines in California. And essentially we set up the robots or the experiments with different types of sensors, primarily RGB cameras. And then it's just collecting the data, we set up the agent, and we train the system. We typically train the system with different methodologies in simulation, and then we deploy them in real. So the agent keeps learning, and we're tweaking the agent, we're blending it with different types of imitation learning and other methodologies to reduce the sample complexity of the system.
I can imagine it's pretty complex.
It's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, a lot of learning.
Right.
I can imagine it would take a little bit for everything to be taken in. What's your timeline for it to really get the reinforcement learning down and to get the scope of the environment and to get us off-world? What's
right.
your timeline?
That's very good. Well, we're hoping that we have a space mission up and running in the next 3 to 5 years. Our robots are already operating in mine applications in extreme environments on Earth, and essentially what we do is, our philosophy is that you don't have to apply ML to everything. We're very selective in where we're going to deploy the agents in our entire platform. Our platform also has hard-coded algorithms and traditional control systems, and then wherever we see that hard-coded systems don't really solve the complex task at hand, we develop a RL agent with the different methodologies, as I said before. And then it typically takes us around 3 months to develop the agent, set up the experiment, and set up the simulation environment. And then from then on, we deploy it and we perform the training, and that takes several months in real.
So you said you're starting with mining. That's kind of your primary focus right now. What's next? Like, what other environments would you like to kind of focus on?
That's a great question. Well, if you think about deploying to space, setting your foot on the moon, what are you going to need first? So if you think about humans in space, they typically will start with an outpost, then a settlement, and eventually a colony. And then what we did is we break down, well, what do you really need for an outpost? And mining or excavation is definitely key. And then construction and manufacturing goes next. So we're definitely looking into those industrial verticals as our next applications. And in construction, you can think of tunneling, you can think of utility repair, There is also disaster relief applications that we're looking at. And manufacturing is definitely something that we're looking at, but it requires additional layer of complexity in certain ways. If it is not hard-coded in a, if you can imagine inside a warehouse, there is high predictability and you can train the systems to perform tasks. But when you're manufacturing in the field, what that entails, that's a very interesting and fun task that we're looking at.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
So for people who are getting into deep reinforcement learning and trying to learn more about that, what are some resources that you'd recommend?
Oh, that's a great question. I recommend there is a Introduction to Reinforcement Learning course in Udacity right now. And then there are a couple of courses from Sergey Levin at Berkeley and also professors at Georgia Tech on more advanced concepts in reinforcement learning. So I think that's a great starting point. And then from there, ArcSiv and all of these conferences have a wealth of knowledge, and you just need to pick your approach, and your focus area for us is reinforcement learning in real. So.
Yeah, and I imagine just even being involved in coming to rework. There's so many great talks. There's so many great people like yourself that can relay their getting caught on my words. That can relay their knowledge and relay their experiences and share and connect. Right?
Yeah, I actually think that conferences and the network is extremely important, and rework does an excellent job in blending industry with academia. And the conferences are very targeted, so it has been a very successful experience for me so far attending these conferences.
And we got to meet, and we
yes, exactly, and you also hang out with very cool people. So that's also very important.
That's great. So what's next? Where can we keep up with you, and where can we keep an eye on what you're working on?
For us next is keep developing in the field. You can reach me at LinkedIn and also OffWorld.ai, and I look forward to getting to know more people interested in this field.
Yay! Thank you so much.